Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
What is a cult that pretends it's not cult? Every cult denies they're a cult. Are there cults that are like, yeah, legit we're a cult, but hear me out? Blue Oyster Cult. Scientology. They bought out the Cult Awareness Network so they wouldn't be on the list. Cult Awareness Network. I thought this sentence was a joke, but holy shit, it's real. The Herbalife Company. Despite being accused of being a pyramid scheme, they continue to function similarly. There are some people from my childhood who became addicted to it. And they act very much like members of a cult. Herbalife is opening shake shops in Connecticut at an insane rate. They're everywhere now and the market won't ever be able to sustain this amount of identical stores. I feel bad for all these young women who have invested everything into the pyramid scheme. A lot of people are going to lose everything when this new pyramid collapses. There is a church in Richmond, VA that opened one of these shops that was actually an Herbalife front. And because it was ran by the church, a lot of the people working there were volunteers. It was messed up. Yesterday, I actually observed a job posting that stated, "Don't bother applying if receiving money is your main motivation. Here, we live like a family." Quote, one of the most degrading things I've ever read was that. Just to be clear, this job was compensated. They simply stated that they wouldn't be paying you much, I presume. Oh, that's such a relief. I need a new place to stay, and when's dinner? Quote, sorry, but the sign was meant to mean you treat us like family, not the other way around. I hate companies that try that. It's such a lie. It's not a lie, they exploit their families and treat them like shit. Welcome to the family. Ballet. You are basically at their whim. You are expected to pay tuition, costumes, dance wear, dance shoes, travel fees, competition fees, production fees, tickets, and do volunteer work and give up your entire schedule. If you complain at all about anything valid or not, they shun you by not giving your kid a good role or not moving them up a level. And they withhold attention to your child. You literally must schedule all life around ballet. And pay thousands and thousands of dollars so your kid can be in the back. If you quit, all the former dance parents and friends will shun you. This could be said about all competitive, traveling youth sports. Yes, ballet is tough though because it's subjective, and so even though my child outdances other kids, they can still pick others over him and I can't complain. Whereas with something like baseball or swimming, there are actual stats you can use to compare. Same goes with gymnastics. I had a friend who missed one single day because she was sick and got yelled at for it in front of everyone. She literally practiced on the team every single day. Jehovah's Witnesses. As someone who comes from a family of Jehovah's and has actively practiced this faith in past times, it is 100% a cult. It was simultaneously painful and relieving to finally accept that they were truly a cult after I came here to see this. I was raised JW, and finally mustered up the courage to leave when I turned 18. Literally overnight, everyone I knew my whole life cut contact with me. Not even a goodbye. Friends and family. The stress from it all made me physically ill. I was in and out of the hospital constantly. I'm doing much better now. I have a beautiful little family. In the entire time I've been gone, now about 6-ish years, my biological father has called me one time. This is how the conversation went. BD, bio dad. BD, hello, is this Ninja Pig 101? Literally using my first and last name. Me, yes. BD, this is first name last name. Yes, he literally used just his first and last name. Calling to inform you of the passing of grandma. Except he uses grandma's first and last name in referring to her as well. It was like I was just immediately no longer part of the family. Just like that. I'm so thankful I got out of that when I had the chance. The Duggar family. I saw a Sun article at the supermarket that read, which Duggars are the Beyoncé and Jay-Z of the family? None of them. We figured out who the R. Kelly of the family was, though. Excuse you. You telling me you've never heard Duggars in Paris? CrossFitter here. We are absolutely a cult. Fish fan also. Huge cult. As a CrossFitting fish fan, you shut your goddamn mouth, I'm not in a cult. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. No. You're in two cults. Carrot fish, carrot fan, carrot here. Carrot sup. There's the usual answers like religions, tech startups, etc. And then there's the BTS army. Upvoted for your bravery. BTS is hated here. Go on Twitter and that will be the real bravery. Texas A&M. My mom likes to tell the story about when I visited there as a high school senior. It was a one-night sleepover tour. I hated it. When she came to pick me up the following day, I was waiting at the curb, sitting on my packed suitcase. I hopped immediately into the car and the first thing I said was, "It's a cult. Let's get out of here." Quote, I am imagining Bobby Hill saying all of this. My family legit shunned me when I said I didn't want to go there because it was a cult. thereby proving it's a cult. Lol. Apparently if your kid is attending or an alumni, you are expected to host any student or alumni, whether you know them or not. Need a place to stay? Look up alumni and alumni families and call one. Story from a father of an former student. He told his kid to switch to UT. Literally lol, nothing else they could have done would have proved your point more. My cousin went there in the 90s. At the time they were still doing the official bonfire tradition. If you're not familiar with it, they would have a bonfire before the annual football game against UT. That on its own is fine, except they started making it bigger and bigger for several decades. At one point it was over 100 feet tall in the 60s. The university limited the size to a mere 55 feet after that due to safety concerns. The structure got more and more elaborate to the point it was involving logs bolted together into an actual structure. This was done and supervised almost entirely by students, with maybe some alumni volunteering as well. When my cousin enthusiastically told us about it and showed us some video, I, as a 15-year-old at the time, immediately said, it's only a matter of time before that collapses and kills a bunch of them. Because it was so absurdly obvious they was inevitable. In 1999 exactly that happened, killing 11 students and 1 alumni. It was one of the most easily foreseeable and preventable disasters in history, but nobody wanted to argue with the tradition. The university cancelled the bonfire permanently after the deaths because, obviously, students restarted an unofficial one off campus in 2002. They at least have stopped the elaborate construction and have a standard build that's used every year and is relatively safe. Edit. I should also mention my cousin has always had a cultish extreme devotion to Tamu. But she tends to be that way about stuff in general, so I never really thought much about it. Interesting to hear that's more of an across-the-board kind of thing. Just a note on that. I have friends and family that have attended A&M. Not only were those bonfire structures overly large and built by students, but they were built by students that were spending all their free time doing it. Late into or even overnight. We are talking about using excavators and engineering by unlicensed individuals. Students drinking was a part of the tradition. I'm surprised that people didn't die sooner.